Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bark. It's been a really interesting summer as far as news goes, so we're just going to go right into it with the top news stories of the summer. As far as entertainment goes, I don't think we can talk about celebrity problems over the summer without discussing TomKat. Sadly, R.I.P. TomKat. They got divorced after 5 years of marriage. Supposedly, according to people and other news reports, Scientology might have played a role. There were jokes about like the contract being up and that Tom like auditioned wives and Katie got the part. So once that was over, they split up. But long story short, the divorce was pretty quick. It only took 2 weeks for it to be finalized. Suri is living mostly with her mommy in New York, and Tom has generous visitation rights. Thoughts? Was this predictable or what?
I heard that he was very shocked. I don't know if that's just what the tabloids said, but supposedly he thought their marriage was going great, and then she showed up on the movie set that he was working on and was just like, hey, like, we're divorced. And he was all upset. I don't know if that's true, but...
Yeah, I thought this was really interesting. Katie had this whole thing planned out. They said that she had, like, two, like, burner phones or something that she was using to, like, get in touch with the lawyer so that Tom wouldn't find out, or the church officials wouldn't find out. I thought that was interesting. Like a Lifetime movie.
I wonder what happened, though. Like, no one really said why they divorced. It was just Scientology may be a factor, but, like, what was the factor?
He's a little interesting.
He's too old anyways.
Yeah, he's 50 and she's 33. I found that very interesting.
Oh, she's 33. Well, another thing is, according to Tom, as his reps have done in the past, whenever they bring up Scientology is affecting anything in his personal life, they said that that had nothing to do with it. That's a boring, false account. And Vanity Fair recently came out with a feature article talking to, I guess, a former Scientology church member saying that, I guess, going into details about Tom's role in the church. And again, his rep said, like, that's not a true report. But I think with any rumor in Hollywood, if it's something that keeps coming up, there's obviously at least a grain of truth to it.
Yeah.
So.
Are there any other celebrities who do the Scientology thing? I think Will Smith, maybe.
He was kind of involved with it, but he says he's a Christian, but he says that the two overlap. They don't. But
Mel Gibson.
Yeah. And Kirstie Alley. John Travolta.
Yeah, and Kelly.
A bunch of crazies.
But another thing is not quite entertainment related, but I don't think we can talk about like summer stories without talking about Chick-fil-A, that whole saga. So long story short, the founder of Chick-fil-A talked about, I guess he was on a Christian themed radio station and they asked him about marriage, and he said that he was grateful for the fact that he and his co-founders or what have you still were in their first relationship. They didn't get divorced, so he therefore believes in traditional marriage. And from that was sort of a catalyst to bring up the fact that Chick-fil-A doesn't support gay marriage, and the thought was that Chick-fil-A hates gay people. I've seen gay employees at Chick-fil-A, so I don't think they hate gay people. But thoughts?
Well, I think the public outcry was a little too much because of the fact that Supreme Court has already ruled in FEC v. Citizens United that corporations are people, which means they're protected under the First Amendment. So I'm not like advocating that they were, because I mean I support gay rights, but this isn't a government organization. That's my only issue. Now, if this was, the state capitol sitting there doing it, I would be the first one to pick it with you. I really would. But I think they're a private company. They have their own rights. So they should be allowed to say it. Because, I'm allowed to voice my opinion, and they should be allowed the same thing, the same right, basically.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous that there were traffic jams on huge interstates because so many people were trying to get into Chick-fil-A, people waiting hours to get their meal, and it's just like...
For the Chick-fil-A Appreciation Day.
Yeah. I just don't... I don't know. I don't get why that was necessary. If you are a Christian and love God, why did you have to go and support something that is discriminating against other people? Is that really something Christian?
Obviously, like, the founder, Truett Cathy's son, I think he was the one to say it.
Yes,
So I think, obviously, yeah, they're old. They're, like, mega Christian, okay. But then when you have the people going in, like you said, to like, because they're so blatantly against like gay marriage, stop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, stop. That poor gay kid who's working at Chick-fil-A, can you imagine like all the comments he's getting like, oh, this is a great day, this is so good, and he's saying like, yeah, this is the worst.
See, yeah, I agree with that, like, completely.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, that is wrong.
Yeah.
Because the fact is, you can't regulate human behavior, and that is what they're trying to do. I mean, it's natural, so I don't see what's the big deal of them saying I support this when obviously, I mean, that's also like a difference in like political ideology too. I think that's what it really comes down to. I think the fact is Chick-fil-A came out at the perfect time with this because of the fact that we're in the middle of an election, and they're using this to motivate moderates to show, hey, you know, those blues over there, they're not your kind of people, and which is what they're trying to say. So I think they're using this to their advantage, but also they're not thinking about the people that are hurting in the process. Because I mean, what about teenagers who are going through, you know, that, and they don't feel like, because I don't know, I watch Prayers for Bobby because I'm a Lifetime fanatic, but and it breaks my heart every time because I feel like no one should feel that way about themselves.
I don't think it was a smart move for him to say, like, what he believed. Like, I know, you know, Chick-fil-A's always, like, closed on Sundays and everything. They're really Christian and everything.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it was a smart move for him to say that, you know, he only believes in traditional marriage when you know that you have, you know, gay clients or whatever coming to you. I just don't think it was smart as a businessman.
Yeah.
I will say that on the other side of it, I think that the Human Rights Campaign used that comment to bring attention to their point of view and their platform, and saying that Chick-fil-A reportedly does donate a portion of their money to this organization called Exodus, which
Anti-gay.
and it's Christian in its name, but it's supposed to kind of psychologically change the mentality of a gay person so that they want to be straight. And the side effects of that have been that people have felt worse about themselves, they've been depressed, suicidal. So I think when it comes to a Christian organization, we need to look at like the fruit of these organizations. Just because it's Christian in name does not mean that it's
Christian in
projecting
value.
that. So in my opinion, if I have the means to donate money to Christian organizations, I would look at, okay, what is this really Christian by its fruit and what it's producing? If you're hurting people like that, that's not Christian. That's not showing the love of God and Christ. So that's my stance on it. But moving on to Snooki. Yay! No more sadness. Snooki had a baby, y'all. But there are some tears because with Snooki, you think Jersey Shore. Well, they're going to their last season.
There are no tears there.
Well,
No tears.
maybe for some people.
They're tears for me. They made Love and Hip Hop look like a walk in the park of ratchetness. I'm just saying.
So people reported that she had a little baby, and his name is Lorenzo Dominique Laval, and his daddy is Gianni, or Johnny, whatever. It's J-I-A-N-N-I. Yeah. So, he had like a lot of hair, because TMZ got the first pictures. He was like being rolled out of the hospital.
They probably spiked it already.
And actually, he's on the cover of People with his mommy, and he's pretty tan.
He's cute.
And he is pretty nice looking. My thing is like, he's a newborn, so we don't really know what he looks like. His features haven't really developed, so I don't get that. But
Well, I follow her on Twitter, and every tweet is about how much she loves Lorenzo, and she loves breastfeeding him as well. And she always tweets back at people that are calling her a terrible mother, and she gets very offended and takes pride in her motherhood. So I think that she is going to be a decent mother. I'm giving her my support because I think it's, what good is it if people are just gonna keep telling her she's gonna be an awful mother? Well, that's not gonna, that's gonna bring her down more. So hey, she's a person.
She's gonna stand up for being a mom, and she's gonna be a good mom, and that's cool. But then you have the other side of it, she's wild and crazy, and we have all seen that. We have not ever known Snooki to be this tame individual. So I kind of wonder what that baby's future's gonna look like. Obviously, Guido. Obviously.
Yeah, MTV even gave him that title. The world has another Guido.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I think she's changing, you know. Maybe this baby changed her, and she'll be a good mom.
Yeah, everyone goes through a wild phase.
Yeah, I mean, she's only 24.
Yeah.
I mean,
So yeah.
24. At 24, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be all put together either.
Yeah.
So I think we should just, like, give her a break on this.
Yeah.
And support her with the baby and be like, you know, Snooki, you got this.
On the side note with Jersey Shore, Entertainment Weekly had a talk with one of the executives of programming with MTV, and while they were talking to them about Jersey Shore, they asked him about the Pauly D project, which, you know, he has a little sideshow that no one watched. So when they asked him about it, he said that they haven't been talking about that, they're just focused on Jersey Shore. So I think it's safe to say that they aren't trying to deal with Pauly D, and no one cares. So just throwing that out there for you Pauly D fans. Sorry.
Will Snooki be on the last season, or?
She will.
Oh.
I think she's, like, I think after a while she wasn't in the house where everyone is, but she had the house right next door, and they went to see her a lot, so she's very present.
Wait, so the season's already been filmed?
Yes.
Okay, so the baby's not involved.
No.
Okay.
Good.
I mean, maybe partially. I mean, but not.
In the belly.
Yeah. He's not doing nothing important.
Maybe Snooki will get another show.
Possibly.
Like The Perils
That's
of
probably
Motherhood
gonna
or something.
happen.
Well, okay, that
Yes.
sounds more like
Teen Mom is ending.
Yeah. That is-
True, and we're all happy about that. So when we come back, we're going to have a lot more, including politics, technology, the Olympics, and that thing that happened last night, Democratic National Convention that's happening today, Republican National Convention, all coming up in a bit. So come back.
Hi, welcome back to the Bark. We're going to talk about some nerd news. First up, we've got the Samsung versus Apple lawsuit. Samsung has lost, basically. And I guess the controversy there is, are these technologies going to be, not these technologies, but these kind of common sense technologies, like the point and blow it up with your finger thing, and actually, I can read them for you. Drag documents rotate by twisting, zooming in by pitching, and the bounce back feature, scrolling, and the tap to zoom function. All of those are patented by Apple, and so because Samsung has used them on their phones, they're done. Not done, but obviously they're getting sued for like $1 billion. Apple won. Also, the shape of the phone with the round edges, that's also a thing. So, what do you guys think about this?
That's just ridiculous. Like, does Apple need this money? Like, they are like the richest company ever, and it's not like they're gonna get any less support, or like, people aren't gonna stop buying their phones because another phone has the same zoom feature. You know, like, if you want your iPhone, you're going to get it, or if you want your Samsung, you're going to get that. So I just think that's ridiculous. And what other shape is a cell phone supposed to be? Like, pointed edges? I don't
Yeah,
know.
like a Nokia. It's supposed to be like a Nokia.
That's just
Little
crazy.
brick phone. Very nice.
I think Apple is like, I think they're a company that they patent everything because they know that they're so innovative with the money that they pay other people to develop these technologies, like the iPod click wheel, stuff like that. But I do think that the pinch to zoom in and
Do you think that's
unpinch
more
to
like
zoom out.
common sense, or do you think that's like something that can be patented?
I do think that's more common sense because I think
Because nowadays it's like we have this instinct to do that already. It's almost like it's wired into our system.
Okay. I have a funny story.
Wired.
My mom, she doesn't have a touch screen. She has like a slider phone, so I was sitting there one day just tapping away and trying to like move the music. So I think it is a common sense thing. It's like
Yeah.
natural now.
Yeah.
Even like with my BlackBerry, I sit there and try to like use the screen. I'm like, dude,
Oh wait, just kidding.
just kidding, I can't do this. So I mean, to me, I think the lawsuit was frivolous.
I mean, obviously they got something out of it, $1 billion richer. This isn't really good for Samsung because a lot of their phones that use that technology might have to stop making them. Also, because Apple has such a lockdown on this stuff, they might become like a kind of monopoly. I don't want to say like monopoly, but like, since they are going to have the power to like run it in the future. You know, like Samsung phones are like the Android ones, Google, whatever. But I just think we're gonna have to. Phones may or may not be more expensive in the future just because they've got it on lockdown.
I wonder what other options there's going to be to zoom in. You know, like what else can you do besides make it bigger or make it smaller?
They could use like a dowel on the side of the phone.
Yeah.
That would be like a throwback.
It's just going to be more complicated. So.
All right. Second piece of nerd news is the big summer story. Mars rover Curiosity landed on Mars. Actually,
Science,
like
yay.
a mile and a half. Like they had like a big radius, but it like landed basically where it was supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
NASA had a huge party. Basically, this rover is testing it out, like figuring out what is the organic carbon compounds, the chemical building blocks of life that are on Mars, like basically trying to find, assess long-scale Martian atmospheric evolution process. So it's like, how did this atmosphere come to be? You know, just like planetary things. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It actually landed now like a little over a month ago. So
it's been chilling there a minute.
Mm-hmm.
On that weird planet. It bothers me that, this is kind of besides the point, but it bothers me that we're still getting like black and white pictures of space.
We are getting tons of pictures of space. Like, you get the big satellites out there, and you can see other galaxies and all those pretty colors. Those are real. You gotta believe that they're real.
But the Mars pictures, they're like color coded so that you can like see, so you can tell like, okay, right here is where the rover is, and way over
I mean,
there
it's
is
not
like
super
a
exciting.
mountain.
It's not super exciting because
I
it's
think
like
it's
we've
cool.
seen Mars before.
Yeah,
There's
that's
been rovers on Mars before, but like this one, special. And like in the future, like pretty near future, they may send people there. So it's like, can we actually do it? And because it just landed successfully, it's like, it's just a really good sign. Also, they played, this is a fun fact, a will.i.am song debuted on Mars. It was called Reach for the Stars. So,
Great.
yeah, and I'm just kind of like, will.i.am.
I bet he
Who
feels
likes
cool.
him?
I
Of
know,
all people.
because he was texting with the Olympic torch. I mean, he already feels like a god, so
Oh.
this just like boosted his ego.
Yeah. All right, well, when we come back, we're going to get some news about health and wellness. Is pot lowering your IQ?
All right, hey guys, welcome back to The Bark. And I'm excited because I get a chance to talk about conventions, which is my favorite topic, which is politics. Anyways, all right, so last week the RNC happened. And if you don't know what that means, that's the Republican National Convention 2012. Get excited, right?
Woo!
Yay. Mitt Romney is now the official nominee for the Republican Party. Paul Ryan is his VP, and they will be on the ticket in November. As for the RNC, what's really interesting is they had a rough week. I mean, between Hurricane Isaac, Clint Eastwood, and the chair, and Paul Ryan's facts, CNN, like, hammered them. So, I mean, what's your opinion on that? Like, was it a train wreck, or was it karma biting them for the things they've done in the past? Or maybe the Republican Party has lost their mind. Because, I mean, their primaries were like a doggy world right now.
But after the convention, didn't say that Romney was up in the polls by like 8%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but see, that's normal.
That's normal?
Because
After,
Obama
like-
will be up probably. We'll have like a little bump after the convention. Because of the fact that they've motivated their base and been like, hey guys, we got this, you know. I believe in what you believe in. It's just...
Well, maybe it's foreshadowing for the election results that they had all this chaos. So maybe that will continue and they won't win. But
I will
We're
say,
devious.
as far as the Clint Eastwood thing, that was a mess for no reason.
Eastwooding?
Yeah.
That's a thing now, guys.
I know. It's a trend on
And
YouTube and Twitter.
Yeah, and I mean, celebrities were like mocking him. And the thing is, he went over his time like by double the time. And when they cut to Ann Romney, who y'all don't know, it's Mitt Romney's wife. She was looking bored. Like, she was like, why am I here if this old man don't shut up and stop rambling? And then when they cut to Paul Ryan, he was looking at his watch. So, I mean, I guess for some people, they were like, yeah, Clint Eastwood really told President Obama. Yeah. But then the next day, Obama tweeted a picture, and he was like, this seat's taken. And you saw the back of the president's head with the plaque, the president, and the day he was inducted. So...
Also, Ann Romney wasn't supposed to be shown on network television. A lot of people...
Really?
Yes, because originally she was on Monday night, but, they moved it back. Yeah. Networks had decided to, play their TV shows. So NBC was playing Graham. ABC was playing, I want to say, their cop drama from Canada. And CBS was playing Hawaii Five-0. So this was already planned that her speech was not going to be shown. But because of the fact that she got moved to Tuesday, they had to show it. And they also had Chris Christie on Tuesday, who's a great motivational speaker and stuff.
Wasn't his speech expected to be the thing, and it kind of just fell flat?
Yeah. See, that was the speculations whether or not they wanted it to fall flat or whether or not they wanted him. Because if it was a really good speech, that means Romney had to have a wonderful speech. He had to top it.
Okay.
Which was, because to me, Romney's speech wasn't that great. He had humor in it. About the playlist, it wasn't really funny. I didn't get the humor, but I guess some people did because they were laughing on it. I was like, okay. And then also it had a lot of digs too towards President Obama.
It's been about digs the whole time. Yeah. It's like Kelly was saying, they're just hating on each other. Are they really friends in real life? Do they when they see each other? Well, obviously not friends, but are they
cordial friends?
Yeah. Or do they avoid each other?
I will say. Are we talking about DNC now? Can we dip into that?
Yeah, DNC is going way better, in my opinion. Obama's speech has been moved inside, which means a lot of people can't attend now. But other than that, they haven't had any major, I don't know, problems. Michelle's speech went off really great. People started tweeting about how she's empowering Black women, and she's the first lady. She's fashionable. And Romney didn't get that much from her followers.
Apparently people really liked her dress, though.
Mm-hmm. I loved it.
Thank you. I think Michelle Obama's speech was so relatable to so many people, and I don't think that with Ann Romney, I don't know.
I think that's always been the problem with, the Romney campaign. It's not relatable.
Yeah.
He does project that it's evident that he projects that he wants to relate to the middle class for his platform, but he's not able to. He doesn't get it.
Yeah, in her speech, she was like, my husband's just like you, except for, the big house or something like that. What was it she said? You know what I'm talking about? No?
It's we know what the American dream is because we've lived it.
Yeah.
And so, they've made their way up from where they were before, and, it's successful. You can say that Obama's, time in office wasn't successful, but, guys, let's be real.
Bill Clinton actually responded to that with saying, hey, he doesn't know anyone, including himself now, who could get an economy turned around in 4 years.
It's impossible. It's not totally his fault.
Right.
It's the Congress is so bipartisan, and they're not going to work together. Literally, Republicans have said, we are not going to work with the Democrats.
I know, and Mitt Romney said that in his speech, which really ticked me off, was the fact that he was like, after the 2008 election, we pulled together and we went to work, and I was like, you went to work? Really? Then why was it so much resisted on Obamacare?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Or the budget, whatever.
Or, why you're still trying to pass anti-abortion, legislation. What is this? I don't see the teamwork.
There's no teamwork. And then there's the crazy Tea Partiers. So
I know, still asking for a birth certificate. And Obama has these cute little buttons now. They're $5. You should get one if you're an Obama fan. I'm just saying.
Obama fan.
So, and then also about the DNC that I found very good was that it was kind of cute that Obama tweeted a picture of him and the girls at home. Was like, that's my wife. And I was like, precious. Because, I was expecting, him to be in the audience and being clapping. Because, Ann Romney was there clapping. Paul Ryan and his wife, they were there clapping, during the speeches. And they even had, their grandkids. And I was like, weren't they supposed to be in school? I guess when you run for president, a misday is a misday.
Well, I have to share my fun fact that my brother was there in the audience. He is a delegate for the Democratic National Convention, and they showed his face in the crowd during Bill Clinton's speech, and he was just sitting there listening. I think he might have been biting his nails, too. Kind of embarrassing, but it was really cool, so, yeah.
Yeah, Bill Clinton, his speech ran over. They gave him, 28 minutes, and it went over to 50,
yeah.
which is longer than Romney's acceptance speech, which was 38. I found that very interesting. That Bill
It was
Clinton
good, though.
was Bill
Yeah.
Clinton.
Yeah, but people were tweeting, Bill, can we have you back?
Exactly. Like
Bill.
he kept everybody's interest, and
Yeah, it was
Clinton
good.
did not do that.
Well, I mean, he was like the celebrity one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
So-
think that a former president is going to have a better speech than an actor.
Here's the thing.
They should have
Clint
gotten George
Eastwood,
Bush.
That's just sad because it's like he's been in stuff, and it's like, oh, Clint Eastwood, like we like him, and then it's like you see this train wreck. It was a train wreck.
It was, and he rambled, and everyone was like,
Wasn't
he's
prepared.
old, and he just seemed
His
like
voice.
for him.
yeah, and it's kind of embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it speaks to Clinton, not just as like a politician, former president, just his charisma, the fact that he was able. Yes, he did go over, but he kept on his attention. He riled them up.
I mean, he's
They
allowed to go
were
over.
passionate.
He's
Yeah.
a past president.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And in other news, Arizona has passed an act which says that conception starts 2 weeks. Pregnancy, the gestational period, starts 2 weeks before the actual conception. Because apparently their wording is that it starts on the first day of the last menstrual cycle.
And you're thinking,
How?
no,
Yeah.
no. That
Do you-
can't be a
that doesn't
thing.
Are you inseminated magically on the last day of your menstrual cycle?
I don't know.
I hope not.
I don't
that
understand
makes
the logic.
No sense.
Because number one, it was a female that introduced it, and number two, it was a female governor that signed it.
Oh my
and I was
gosh.
like, what? What? Okay, I was kind of upset when I was like, middle-aged white men are like deciding my reproductive rights, but for a woman to attack them, I was really like,
And that's just
Crazy.
absurd.
I know, because
That's
where's
not
your
even a
feminism?
thing.
Where did it go?
How can you just? Who even thinks of that? It makes no sense, common sense or scientifically. Like, there's no justification. How can you make that a law?
So no one's moving to Arizona. I think that's like.
Well, I won't be moving.
It's a shame that all this stuff is happening in one state, like between abortion laws and immigration laws,
Immigration
even
laws.
though they reverse that, still, it's just a bad look for Arizona. And even doctors were saying that that law infringes upon female reproductive rights, and that's not, because they had people testify against it, that's not fair to do. So if you have doctors saying that, I think that's an issue, but it just
Yeah.
speaks to how
Incompetent
Yeah.
they seem. It's not even that they would be incompetent, but they're like actually screwing themselves over. With
and you're just like
let's make laws about this.
you're twisting
It's not-
science to back up your political
View,
view, and I don't think that's
Because also,
Poor choice.
the bill included more barriers to getting an abortion. Like now in school, they have to teach first. Like the first option apparently is not even like birth control. It's like adoption is first. Well, birthing the baby is first, and then there's adoption. And I was like, what is this? And then also, women who have like abnormalities with their fetus, they're not supposed to recommend that they abort it. They're supposed to say, you know what, you can do this.
It could kill you.
Yeah, even if it does die within 48 hours, it's good. And like they don't consider the emotional wreck that the woman will be. And then also there's mandatory ultrasounds now too. And that if you're underage, you have to have parental consent, and it has to be notarized.
Wait, you have to have parental consent.
If you're underage, like a minor,
Oh yeah. Okay.
and it has to be notarized, so you just can't have a signed piece of paper and be like, yeah, mother signed that. No. Well, when we come back, we'll have more topics, including weed. Get excited, because okay, I'm not advocating for weed, but Bill Maher is my favorite journalist, so I support it. I'm just saying. Okay. Anyways, bye.
Welcome back to the Bark. We're now going to be talking about the new voting law. Okay, so there's a new voting law that has been passed in several states. The law states that you have to have a photo ID at the polls in order to vote to prevent voter fraud. But many people are against it, saying that this is geared toward poor citizens and minority citizens, and it's harder for them to vote because they are less likely to have government-issued photo IDs. So this is kind of like a poll tax. What do y'all think about this?
Yeah, that's sad. I mean, I never really thought of it being hard to obtain an ID because, I mean, like, I have a driver's license, student ID, but that's because I'm fortunate enough to have the money to get a license and to go to a university. So I've never thought that, like, people don't have any IDs, but when you think about it, yeah, it is kind of hard to get one if you are homeless or, you know.
What about, like, if you're old?
Yeah,
Say someone
Yeah.
takes away your driver's license because you actually can't drive anymore.
Yeah.
What ID do you have? Oh, wait, so you're not a citizen? Okay, so you can't vote, even though you've been voting for, like, probably
Yeah, I didn't think
decades.
about that.
Yeah. I think we should look into like creating voter ID cards.
That might be
So
a really good idea.
like library cards, you know, just take a photo while they're there, or passport photos, you know, just transfer it over. Because I mean, like I said, I mean we have to register to vote anyways. So would it be any more effort for you know to go down to City Hall and take a picture?
Probably not.
I mean, is it really going to be that big of a burden on the budget? I mean, we're already in a deficit, so I mean, a couple of extra billion won't really hurt, right? So.
I do agree with the point about poll tax. It does seem very reminiscent. Well, I won't say reminiscent. I didn't live during that time, but it does recall that thought process and that idea. And I think that is unfortunate because it does limit the voice of a big group of people that might not side with.
A particular candidate.
Yeah, we'll put it that way. And I think that's incredibly biased, and I don't think that's fair. And it's kind of like blatant poll taxing, and no one's really. Well, there's two sides to it. Yes, people do say that that's it's good because it curbs voter fraud, which I understand.
Okay.
But
There was like maybe 100 cases of voter fraud in the last election. Maybe 100 out of how many millions of people? Are in this
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's
those
kinda like-
people,
It's a non-issue.
they are affected almost the most by, you know, who they vote for because they're the ones who need the government help. So they can't vote, then nothing's getting done.
The right to vote is like a right to vote. So it's like everyone who's a citizen who's over the age of 18 should be able to vote.
Unless you're a felon. Just
Unless you're a felon. Okay, well
that's the only stipulation.
You're
Apparently.
in jail. You're not
okay.
out. You know,
Yeah.
casting your little.
Yeah, and their alternative
ballot.
like really sucked. It was like an affidavit that you have to submit, and you have to like prove it within 30 days. I mean, it just sounds like
There's
a
like
lot
more paperwork.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
that's-
nowadays. Like I went to the DMV to get like a license, and I had to bring my social security card, my birth certificate, 2 forms of residency. Okay, I had to bring my stuff from home, so they had to send it to my house because I hadn't gotten a bill for my apartment yet. And so I was like, all right, this is fine.
Doesn't one paper show that you are you and that you live here? Like, why do you need like 10 million to say the same thing?
People are like, make sure you have all of your papers. Make sure you have them all out. And everyone's like grabbing a bunch. Like,
And your
I don't know.
birth certificate, like those are important documents. You can't just
lose
be
them.
having
Yeah.
out and
Yeah.
taking
Yeah.
places.
yeah.
those are locked away and saved.
Yeah.
And well, mine.
Yeah, mine is too, and I had to have it too recently. So, yeah.
All right, now we're going to be talking about the Olympics. Okay, I'm sure everyone kept up the Olympics over the summer. It was huge, like it always is. But one thing stood out this year. It was the negativity that women received at the Olympics in the media. Lola Jones, who holds the American record in her track event and a 2-time world champion, was criticized for her sex appeal. Holly Mangold, a weightlifter, was called a beast because of her like build structure. And the biggest one we all know is, or hopefully, 16-year-old Gabby Douglas is the first black woman to win gold during the individual women's gymnastics all-around competition. But despite this amazing accomplishment, you know, she was criticized because of her hair not looking right. So what do y'all feel about that?
It's just so ridiculous and pathetic that.
you'd focus on something.
Yes, when these people
Stupid.
that we could never accomplish these things, like never. It's these amazing accomplishments, and then we have to find these tiny little things wrong with them, and that take away from these great accomplishments. It's just really sad.
I don't think it's only the female athletes. I think it's like all the athletes got a lot of smack. Like Michael Phelps, he was kind of like a little shaky in the beginning, and people were like, obviously you don't care anymore. And it's like, are you kidding me? He's here. And like, obviously, being like a former athlete, you kind of get that at first. You're like, okay, I'm gonna like back down this season because the last season was intense. But like, for someone to like focus so much on someone's faults, even though they are like an amazing athlete, and they will never be there. Like maybe it's what is that called? Self-confidence thing.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have enough, so we have to like nitpick at everything that everyone does, always. Like Gabby Douglas's hair. Okay, at least her hair wasn't down. There's nothing worse than a girl running around with her hair down.
Yeah,
back.
You can't.
She put her hair back. You know?
I don't even think anything was wrong with her hair. Like, first of all, who does their hair when they're about to play a game? Like, or like about to do an event, whatever.
You're running and tumbling and flipping. And
I wouldn't do my hair either. You're about to sweat it out.
I understand. I mean, she was in a public setting. And it looked like her hair had been dreaded, and it wasn't. I think that was the whole issue.
It didn't look dreaded
It did to me. It did to me. I mean, I didn't tweet about it. I didn't put it on Facebook. I mean, and because I didn't know about till like I saw all the uproar, and I was like, what is everyone talking about? And then when I looked, and I was like, I see now. But see, also, I can see why they said it. But also, my issue is, I think we live in a world today where we think we have the right to say whatever is on our mind. I mean, we don't have a filter.
Twitter enforces that, though.
Blessing
Social media
and
enforces
a curse.
that. Yeah.
I mean, even here, people will sit there and tweet pics of like someone's fashion choice and be like, "Oh, this is ratchet," or they'll be in a dining hall and tweet that, "Oh, I just saw this girl here and look at this," and stuff. I mean, I feel like we just think, "Oh, it's me and I can say whatever I want," instead of thinking about, "Hey, maybe sometimes I should take a step back and be an adult about this." So
hiding behind a computer makes it easy to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I want to see what these people look like.
Yeah.
Like, really, y'all better look gorgeous.
Yeah. I know. And like, she even got flack from Fox about her pink leotard. So I mean, that's just another example of just like people saying whatever and not feeling like they should be held accountable for it.
Okay, everyone had a pink leotard. Allie Raisman also had a pink leotard. I think.
What's wrong with that?
They criticized it because it was not American. She didn't wear American colors.
Okay.
Okay, well,
we're gonna be talking about the fashion, those shoes. Why? They weren't American. They were like bright neon yellow, and no one was giving them. You know, all the athletes were wearing them. Those neon yellow shoes and like the goofy suits. Fine, American, whatever. But like, if you're gonna make an issue out of the fact that she's wearing a pink leotard, but she's competing for the United States. Also, she won. She won gold.
Paved the way for African American female gymnasts.
But y'all are focusing on her hair. Mm-hmm. Like, that is just ridiculous to me. Makes me upset.
And what was the Lolo Jones one? Because I follow her on Twitter, and she's funny.
Yeah, they were just saying that she had sex appeal or something. And
she's attractive?
Yeah. So she's a hurdler, and she has an 18-pack, and everyone's jealous. So, yeah, let's talk about how much we hate it. No, you love it. Don't lie to me. Yeah. You love it.
Didn't she say she was like a virgin or something, though?
Yeah.
So
okay, it might have been that. Maybe that was the issue, that she wasn't like...
So she's too sexy, yet she's not sexual. So what? Like...
Well, yeah, she kind of put that one out there, though. She was like, I'm a virgin. And then everybody ran with that. And then the media, like, marketed her, like, when she was on the cover of all these magazines as, like, sexy. But they do that with all the athletes. They did that with Serena. Yeah. When Gabby gets old enough, they might do it with her. Let's be real. So.
But the thing is, Gabby, like, this is her shot. You know, like, the gymnasts don't compete multiple times in the Olympics. It's usually once. Like, none of the girls.
The one, like, 37-year-old from Russia or something.
Okay, that was back in 1950. And where, like, you could do that.
No, this year. She was, like, 37. She had really short, dark hair, and she was not feminine at all.
Where was
she? Russian.
From Russia, I believe. Or it was crazy.
At least for the American team, though, like, nobody can get on.
She was the only
after
one.
You're 19, you're done. You're done.
Yeah, because it pushes you so much, and then
And that's all. And we're gonna take a break. Thank you.
Hi, welcome back to The Bark. So it seems like we've kind of been talking about a lot of sad things happening in the world, and sorry, but we're about to add to that as well. There's been the worst ever U.S. outbreak of West Nile virus in the past couple of months. 25% increase in the number of people infected by this mosquito-borne disease. like we don't already hate mosquitoes enough, but they've been coming out more often, and this virus is more prevalent because of, it's said to be because of the higher temperatures and possibly Hurricane Isaac bringing more moisture into the air. Half of the infections have been in Texas alone, but a lot of the southern states where it's hotter, but it's actually moving north too.
It's like rando states.
So yeah,
Michigan,
it's affecting a lot of different states. But only 2 to 3% of people who come down with this infection and fever are actually reported to the CDC and the government. So I'm wondering if there actually are a lot more cases that aren't being reported. So it's hard to know how much there actually are. There's been 87 deaths. So this is just another scary thing that's happening in our world today.
There's no controversy there.
Yeah, no controversy. Anyone have any comments on it, though?
Just by a lot of off.
Yeah.
And rage or
Those
whatever.
are gross.
I don't know.
Do we know what the symptoms are?
Yes, there are. Symptoms can range from a high fever and stiff neck to coma and paralysis. So, depending on who you are, you could suffer the consequences very badly, or you could be you could be okay, I guess. But
I will say, for all hypochondriacs out there, don't self-diagnose yourself because that's really annoying and nobody likes that. Okay, so have a seat.
But put on your bug spray if you're going out into the wilderness. So now we'll go on to our favorite topic of the day, marijuana. It seems like, when we're little, it's like this big deal, but once we get into middle and high school, it kind of becomes just like the norm that a ton of people smoke pot. Whether you approve of it, whether you do it or not, you kind of just accept it. But there have been studies that do show that in your adolescent years, when your brain is still developing, that marijuana can have lasting effects on your neurological development. There was a study that over 1,000 children were tested when they were 13.
This is in like the 70s. They
Yeah,
started.
in the 70s. So
longitudinal study finding
yes,
statistics.
longitudinal from 13 to 38. Their IQ was tested at 13, and then at 38, and the results showed that the people who did smoke pot normally during their adolescent years shed about 5 to 6 points off their IQ, and the people who didn't smoke at all only had like about a point or no point difference at all. So these results were true. So it's just kind of interesting to think because people don't think it's a big deal, and I mean it's not like this deathly thing, but it does cause damage to your brain and lasting effects. So
I mean, it's not gonna kill you.
Right.
Obviously, people will advocate like, oh, this pen cap is more dangerous than marijuana, and you're like, yeah, I can see that. But like, the fact is, like, there's cannabis dependency, and if you know any pot smokers, a lot of them become, just like slugs. Just hang out. It's like all pot all the time, and you're like, please stop Instagramming this.
yeah.
Don't want to see your bowl again.
I was really shocked when I read that in 2011, 25% were 8th graders who said that they smoked in the past year. I was just really shocked.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't smoking weed in middle school.
I know, my
I didn't know what it
cousins.
smelled like. I'm just saying.
I didn't know people actually did that, and now it's just like they get younger and younger every year.
Yeah.
My cousin is in middle school, and she's like a baby to me, and her friends are all doing it on the reg, and it's just like, you're like, it's just crazy and sad. And the statistic here says that, 25% of 8th, 10th, and 12th said they have smoked at some point, but 6.6 12th graders do every day, and 3.6 10th graders. 10th, and then the 12th do it every day. 3.6 of 10th do it every day. So that sounds like a really small statistic, but that's just really like every day, and you're just still a kid.
It's dependence.
Yeah.
It's real.
And what I found very interesting was like they recommend increasing efforts to delay the onset of cannabis use among teens. And my point is, can't we just create a law for that?
I mean,
And enforce it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a smart idea? But I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they want marijuana to be legal. I mean, that's totally fine, but...
I mean, there are definite benefits to marijuana. Like, if you're old or you're, like, sick, but, like, anyone in California can be like, oh, my leg hurts so bad, I'm gonna go get a medical marijuana card and, just use it for personal use. I'm like, okay, have fun.
When I was in California a couple months ago, people just, were smoking it on the side of the road in public and were just, asking, hey, man, you got some? So publicly. I was just shocked, and it, wasn't a big deal. It's really weird.
I don't advocate weed smoking. Because well, people are like pot. I'm just like, we call it weed where I'm from. But anyway. But if you do it, I mean, that's you. But don't front it that's not, after a while, it's just you can just stop anytime. Because I've seen True Life. I smoke marijuana. And those people.
Sad.
Yeah, they say it's not addictive, but it is.
Yeah, if you're sitting there saying, man, I just really want to smoke something. That sounds...
They wake up and have to do it.
That sounds a little fishy.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a dependency issue.
Yeah, I know people who do it right when they wake up, and they can't go to sleep at night unless they smoke right before. I'm like, what? Why would you want to get high to go to sleep? I don't get it.
I guess it's when you have a dependence on anything, though.
Yeah.
For real. I mean, cigarettes are always going to be, the worst thing. They are illegal. But, I mean, kids, when they start... It's like when you know, your teachers or people, adults, who say, oh, yeah, I started smoking when I was 13, and now I can't stop, and, yeah, that is, a addiction. I think marijuana is like that to, an extent. But, I mean, with the psychological effects, you can definitely tell that it's not... It's not the same. I mean, health effects, I'd say... IQ is a really weird little thing, but if there's obvious evidence that it has, it drops your IQ, I wouldn't do it regularly.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do it regularly regardless, just because of, that culture is something you can get sucked into, and, you actually don't get out of that. And if you post your pictures, I'm going to keep saying this, you post your pictures on Instagram, that will come back to haunt you in the future. I don't care if it's on private. Someone
from my county where I'm from posted a YouTube video, and it was their channel for their pot smoking friends, and he was like, yeah, here's my new bowl, I'm going to put it in here, this is how I do it. And then, someone commented, was like, the police department has found this, we will be contacting you. Yeah. I don't know if it really was, or just someone just put that to be funny, but it's just really, why would you do that?
Yeah, if it's illegal, don't broadcast it.
Yeah. Obviously. This is anything, ever. If it's illegal, you're not allowed to do it. Stop showing everyone
you're not cool
that you're doing it.
I think that's a change in culture, too. I think we should teach our kids it's not okay to smoke pot. I mean, when you see rap videos and all they're doing is blowing smoke, it sends the message that, hey, it's okay to do drugs, Also, look at Lindsay Lohan. I mean, she may be on cocaine and meth and whatever else she's doing, but I'm saying she's getting a slap on the wrist. It's oh, you're going to get 90 days probation. Here goes your license. Go do it again. Or, you have to wear this monitoring ankle device. But you know what? You can do it again.
I mean, she's a celebrity, though. A lot of people get in, big trouble for what they see as, minor violations. But, I mean, those things, they can come back to haunt you when you're, trying to get a job. Oh, wait, I have your records. I have access to your Facebook. I have access to your Twitter. Tell me about this. Tell me about this MIP that you got. Why did you get this? And then you have to explain yourself. And it would be embarrassing to me.
Yeah, and things on the internet, you can go delete it, but once things are on the internet, they are there. And if someone wants to find it, they will find it. So even if you go and delete your partying pictures on Facebook, well, someone can still find them. So, yeah. All right, that wraps it up for our episode today of The Bark. Tune in next time for some more hot topics.